Grief is exhausting, and there is a kind of grief and bad matches that comes without acknowledgement, really, and without a funeral or a casserole. And that is the grief of losing family to a political ideology. Gosh, it just really sucks losing your family to MAGA. We've lost several extended family members, or at least lost the closeness of the relationship. This is my candle for grief. I do that a lot. I don't know if you can see it or not. I'm just put it right there. We've lost, to varying degrees, extended family members to MAGA, and it just really, it's sad. Like, some of the people we are in touch with but have lost closeness with, some of the people we can't be in touch with at all, others, we just have to keep at an arm's length just because of hurtful things that are said, and because we have vulnerable children in our family who are directly impacted by the policies that are happening in the States right now. The loss that so many of us are feeling is that loss of feeling like family has chosen an ideology over your children, over the well-being of your children. And I think that's what's really sad. So there's the feeling of grief over rejection and feeling rejected and not chosen, that we're not worth loving, that we're disposable, I think. And I'm sure that the family members wouldn't even see it that way, but it's the way that it feels, that the well-being of our family as a multiracial, multi-abled family just isn't the priority, that this ideology is the priority. And it's a humanity thing too, feeling like our kids are being dehumanized by an ideology, and then having people who say they love our kids and probably think they love our kids not understand how hurtful those beliefs are. So you lose the relationship, you feel degraded by the belief system, you feel confused and gaslit by being told that you're loved when your kid's bodily safety is not prioritized. It's just really confusing. And so then you're left grieving these relationships and these people who you really want to be in your life, loving you and accepting you and wanting the best for your kids. And instead, the belief system and the dedication to a political system that I believe is harmful, very, very harmful, that dedication is higher than the dedication to your family. And that's so sad. I'm so sorry if you are experiencing this in your extended family as well. It's just such an awful loss, and I don't feel like it's getting talked about a ton. I think there's a lot of us who are just grieving right now, a lot of us Americans who feel really confused. I think there's a lot of us who are grieving relationships even with friends or former friends, former church members who have been just totally taken up by this movement and don't see it as harmful, see it as necessary. And I think I find that really just disorienting. So there's this level of disorientation and feeling abandoned and feeling rejected, and then just the grief of all of it, because there's the loss of a relationship that should be nourishing and supportive, right? Family is meant to be your biggest cheerleaders and accepting you for who you are. And that's not, we all know that's not how it always goes. But I feel like this is just another level. Like, it's far beyond politics now. I remember growing up with two good friends. They were roommates. They were best friends. One was a Republican, one was a Democrat. They had a very healthy, fun relationship, and they could talk about policies. But what MAGA has embraced is so far beyond policies, and that's, I think, why these relationships are falling apart, because it's not a difference of opinion anymore. It's a difference of belief about like who has real humanity. And when people can't see the humanity in others, that's just devastating, especially when it's your family and you just want to be loved by them. So, as you may know, but maybe you don't, I'm Andy. I am a mom of 5, and I left America in 2019 with my family of 7. And we have a multiracial family. We have kids in a lot of different marginalized communities. And so right now, America doesn't feel possible for us to even return to. So that's another grief for us right now. Like, we are sad to see what's happening in America, but also like we left to explore the world and live abroad, and we don't feel like we could come back even if we wanted to. And so that's just another level of difficulty right now for us. I think for me, a lot of this is mostly centering around my husband's family, his extended family. So I think just for me as a wife, like, I feel rejected, and I feel rejected on behalf of our kids, but I think seeing the person that you do life with and that you love so dearly not be supported and not be accepted by the people in his family, like, again, I don't think they would see it that way. I don't think they think they're rejecting us, but I mean, when your humanity is rejected and when your safety isn't prioritized, that's rejection. So, yeah. So seeing my husband suffer has been just devastating, and then trying to just support him. And, I mean, sometimes I make the mistake of being like, but you have us, and I know as an emotionally intelligent person that I'm not supposed to say that. Because it's still a loss, right? Like, it doesn't matter if you still have somebody, and he loves me and he feels supported by me and he's glad he has me, but it doesn't change the loss. So that was a dumb thing for me to say, and I knew better, but I just wanted to make him feel better. It didn't work. But yeah, I mean, like, I've cried tears about this. I've been angry about this. I've been devastated about this, and just heartbroken, as of today. It's just such a constant thing that keeps coming up, especially when you're trying to maintain the relationships and you're trying to do everything you possibly can to be honest about like your concerns about what is going on, but also to maintain the relationships that like you want so desperately to hold on to. It's not easy. Like, I don't feel good about just cutting people off unless they're actively harmful. And so we have this like weird, complicated balance of just having to not have the depth of relationship that we would like to have. I don't know. I don't have any easy answers. You know, I know some people are just like, no, they don't see your humanity, you know, by the way that they're voting. Well, cut them off, you know, and I don't think it's that simple. And I think that that's what makes this kind of grief very difficult is like, I mean, there's a gaping wound when you cut people off. And we have had to do that with the most harmful people, but what to do with the people who are just really bought in and don't see how the ideology is directly harming you and your kids. Like, it's so confusing. So again, I don't have answers here, except we just try to be really honest about the feelings, betrayal, brain's not working because it's late at night. Sadness, heartbreak, anger, discouragement, exasperation, you know, there's just so many feelings. And loneliness. So if you're lonely just because you want to have supportive family and you don't have family that you feel like you can be close with because they are prioritizing an ideology over you, my heart goes out to you. It's really painful. And I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Just if this hit a nerve, if you're experiencing this, I think a lot of us are experiencing this. And so that's why I wanted to talk about it. My friend, it's time for the OK report. I am spending 45 days after my 45th birthday trying to figure out how to be okay and what makes me feel more okay, despite things like what I'm talking about today. Here's the okayometer. Today ended in a solid dark storm clouds and lightning because of this topic that I am talking about and just the sadness that goes along with that. I don't feel okay. I mean, I guess I feel like okay in my body, sort of, but it doesn't feel okay to feel rejected by your extended family. Not okay. And it is okay to not be okay, right? I will say the day started out a little bit over here. Usually I try to make it go the other way. Today it started out over with blue cloud and bird. And it stayed here for a while. You know, sometimes circumstances just like sweep you off your feet, right? There was something really good that happened today. My daughter got a job. I'm super proud of her. So there was good news, and that is actually part of how I deal with the reality of grief. I just want to show you, because I am often showing you my hands. Deep sorrow and sadness in one hand, and joy and pride and happiness for what's going on for my daughter in the other hand, and relief. We are often holding so many feelings together because the things that are here don't have to undo these ones. And I think I used to think that they did. I used to think that the sad things, like if sad things were going on, it like negated, like it cancel each other out. And no, hold it all. Hold the sorrow, hold the joy. We have a big enough capacity for both of those. We have a big enough capacity for both sorrow and joy. And in the middle is, I guess it's over here in the sorrow, like ambiguous loss, invisible grief, like where nobody is coming to tell you, oh, I'm so sorry. It's invisible grief. Like there's a lot of invisible griefs in the world, and maybe I'll talk about that tomorrow. But yeah, we can hold it all. We can hold it all and we can name it. I do think that naming things really helps us carry the grief, and just naming the feelings, taking time to figure out what the feelings are, especially when they're complicated. So that's what I do. I cry when I need to cry. As my friend who passed away from cancer said, movement, like when the grief is too heavy, move. Like you can move the grief through when you physically move your body, even just like a gentle walk or stretching or things like that. Like sometimes the grief is so heavy, you need to like move your body to move it through. And so I want to encourage you that if you are feeling the heaviness of it, go be in nature, take a walk, anything that you can do to get your body moving. I mean, obviously more vigorous exercise works too, but it doesn't have to be that. And I learned that from my best friend Gretchen, who passed away in 2023. But she dealt with her grief looking at her terminal cancer diagnosis and what that would mean for her family. She dealt with that by naming her feelings. And when she was just couldn't carry the heaviness of it, she would move and move the grief through by moving her body. So anyway, I hope that helps. This morning I did, when I started out over here on the OK-o-meter, it was because I did some art and I thought I would set my grief art here. Today, I just want to mention it because I do have my new art website open for business. There's only a few listings so far, but I have a lot of beautiful stuff on there. And sometimes beauty is a real balm for grievers as well. So this is inspired by my friend Lori Hatteen, who has done some art where she includes the frame in the painting. And I was like, oh, I want to do that. So this tumultuous ocean scene, I call it, it's sort of long. I usually like to name my things with one word, but this is when the grief, what did I name it? When the grief won't stay in the frame, let it move you. And I was thinking of what Gretchen taught me about like letting grief move you and moving through grief. And so I wanted this to have so much movement in it. And I also wanted to show like the power of the ocean and how it doesn't stay within its easy boundaries, and grief doesn't either. Grief overflows when we least want it to overflow. So that's what that painting is. So if you're carrying this too, I just really hope that you will be gentle with yourself today and that you can find some beauty in your life no matter what it is. Just beauty to buoy your spirit. And I don't mean like silver lining on a cloud. I mean literally beauty as oxygen so that you just keep breathing through it. Thank you for being with me today. Let me know if you'd like me to talk more about grief. It's sort of a familiar topic to me after losing my friend and other grievy things that have happened in my life. See you later. Thanks for being here.